Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, dignitaries, friends, colleagues, professionals, practitioners, and ICID family. I am proud and honored to address your gathering today to celebrate the 73rd anniversary of ICID. Please let me say a few words about ICID, how it started, and how it became the organization that we are all proud of today. The importance of irrigation was realized by the early civilizations to produce food and fiber. But how it started in India, it's because of the Bengal famine of 1889, where there was a need to eradicate poverty and hunger. And that led to the establishment of the Central Board of Irrigation and Power in 1927 as a think tank. And that think tank led to the establishment of development of a framework for the country of different institutions. And they realized there is no platform for exchange of experience or developing the science of irrigation and planning, design, and operation of irrigation infrastructure. And that led the government of India to sanction the idea of having international commission on irrigation and drainage. And in consultation with 47 countries, the idea was to have a first interministerial meeting, which took place on 24th of February in 1950. And by that time, the organization was called ICIC. Then the first meeting of the International Executive Council took place in Shimla on 24th of June, 1950, 73 years ago. And having really a great Prime Minister of India by that time, Jawaharlal Nehru, who believed in irrigation and agriculture in general, that actually gave a boost to the establishment of the ICID. And after the establishment on 24th of June 1950, the second meeting took place the year after in January, 12th of January 1951. And the constitution of ICID was finalized and the name changed to ICID instead of ICIC. So the ICID here, the D represent the drainage, as the drainage was added to the name. And ICID got its own house now in New Delhi. And inside that house, you will see all the presidents that they had the honor to serve ICID since its establishment. The current president and the current Secretary General, it's myself and the engineer Ashwin Pandya. And now the ICID member network it covers over 100 countries, covering area of more than 90% of the irrigated area in the world. And what ICID actually stands for is that since it's established in 1950, it is a leading scientific, technical, and not-for-profit scientific international organization. ICID was the forefront of the Green Revolution after World War II. It is a network of professionals spread across more than 100 countries, has facilitated sharing of experience and transfer of water management technology for over 7 decades. Dedicated to enhance the worldwide supply of food and fiber for all people, and believes that food security at various levels, global, national, local, and household, and provision of assured livelihood starts with stable agricultural production. ICID encourages public-private partnership in development and management of water resources. ICID actively contributes to various global dialogues and initiatives such as World Water Fora, World Water Development Reports, and more to ensure that agricultural water management practices are undertaken within the overall framework of integrated water resources management to achieve the overall aim of sustainable development aligning with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. ICID is an organization with a vision for the future. ICID moves with time and ahead of time. It has developed a vision 2030 with a secure world free of poverty and hunger through sustainable rural development, and produced a plan on how to implement this vision through its activities. A recognition of the need for better equipped future generation of practitioners, ICID has established global young professional groups, more than 5,000 young professionals right now, to be trained and mentored by ICID seniors. This recognition of the young professional needs for their career development is a very unique to ICID as caring and sharing organization. Although the ICID has been established primarily for irrigation and drainage, it has moved with time and became more dynamic. It takes on board pressing issues when they arise, such as climate change and extreme events of flood and drought, non-conventional water resources, water governance, water food energy nexus, water and food security, biofuel, the environmental impact of irrigation and drainage, and more. When it was established, the focus was in the engineering side, and then it took on board in the 70s the social and economic aspects, and then in the 90s it took on board sustainable agriculture and capacity building, and then in the recent years it started to look at the water security and sustainable rural development, taking into account the climate change and water energy food nexus. The management structure of the ICID, right now it is the International Executive Council on the top, and then the management board and central office, which actually coordinate the work with sister organizations of the UN and non-UN international organization, and the membership of the countries and the members of the different national committees. They are forming different technical working groups nowadays, around 22 working groups. And these 22 working groups are divided into into 4 thematic groups: basin, knowledge, strategy, farm. So there are really so many themes to go into details. And also working with partners, ICID has developed a big network of international partners, and the list really is growing from that number here to that number there within just the last few years. And also in recognition of achievements of the different working groups and individuals, ICID has various awards. And here you have examples of the Best National Committee Award, WhatsApp Award, Best Paper Award, World Irrigation and Drainage Prize, World Heritage Structure Recognition, and the Best Performing Working Group. In knowledge management, over the past decades, ICID has accumulated a substantial amount of knowledge, particularly in the field of irrigation and drainage. And the Commission is using the following platforms to disseminate its knowledge in terms of publication, capacity development, integrated library, system, irrigation dictionary, irrigation drainage products and services, and joint area research and tools and models, ICID services, that's service unit. This is an example of the ICID highly respected and demanded publications. And also we disseminate the knowledge in other forms, like the Journal of Irrigation and Drainage through Wiley, USA, and also news, ICID news, which is published quarterly, and also news update, which is monthly, and the e-bulletin, which is weekly, and more than 100 special publications on a wide range of topics. Also, we are having a presence in the social media, and we feed the social media with up-to-date events and activities of ICID. that goes from Facebook to YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and our own website as well. And over the period of the COVID and restrictions on traveling, the ICID office managed an excellent way, a good number of webinars, and no one felt that the physical contact affected our work, because we had even more frequent meeting than when we had before the COVID. So we managed to have a good number of the ICID webinars, and thanks to the ICID Central Office IT services. Product services and the directory, ICID also has produced yellow pages where the member countries, they can look for consultancy services, companies, manufacturers, or dealers, and institutions. At the same time, the ICID also established a service unit, and that service unit is a service that can provide different governments and different institutions worldwide with many activities. And these activities can go from institutional building to training to advisory on different aspects of irrigation drainage. The current challenge now for ICID member countries is that by 2050, world population is expected to increase from 6 to 9 billion, and subsequently we need to increase the food by 100%, which requires more irrigation water. Water consumption is expected to increase by 50%. The increase in global energy demand by 30 to 40%, and climate change predicted increased and reduced rainfall in different parts of the world, and subsequently reduced runoff, river flow, and ground recharge. The future climate change predicts more frequent extreme events of flood and the drought, and irrigation requires a steady water supply throughout the year. And also the steady water supply is needed for integrated water management. Currently, there is an increasing gap between water demand and supply, and by 2030, a 40% overall gap between global water supply and demand is expected. The way forward for ICID member countries is to increase our water supply, to narrow the gap between water demand and supply through water harvesting, more storage reservoirs, use of non-conventional water resources such as treated wastewater, saline brackish water, drainage water, fog and cloud rain harvesting, and more. Also, there is a need to increase the water use efficiency and water productivity. Irrigation globally consumes 70% of total freshwater resources, and we need to use more efficient irrigation systems such as drip, subsurface drip, nano irrigation, ultra-low pressure drip, varying irrigation rate, center pivot, low-level sprinklers, and more of that type of efficient irrigation systems. We need to produce more crop per drop per kilowatt per unit area of land. We need to adapt to and mitigate climate change impact on water use and the crop production. For that reason, we have a vision, and the vision is a water-secure world free of poverty and hunger through sustainable rural development, and we established 6 goals to achieve this vision. ICID has so many achievements over the 73 years. I'll just list a few. ICID should look back with pride and contents of its achievement over 73 years of existence. ICID presently has over 100 member countries and represents 90% of the irrigated area of the world. It covers 22 wide area of technical activities ranging from irrigation and drainage to climate change and water, food, energy nexus. For each activity, there is a working group to plan and deliver on the activities. Established awarding system to acknowledge the individual achievements. Also established internationally well-known peer-reviewed journal Irrigation and Drainage was Wiley as a publisher in the USA. Also established regional groups, young professionals for the world continents. Establish an excellent dissemination of knowledge system, online and web-based. The future ICID activities, the first one in October this year is the one that will be held in Adelaide, Australia, in the first week of October. I hope to see you there. And that will be followed by next year, 2023. We have one in India and also one in Beijing, but that's still to be confirmed. And we have the year after 24 Executive Council meeting in Sydney, Australia. That will be followed by the year after by the 77th International Executive Council in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. And I would like to thank you, and I wish you all a happy 73rd anniversary of ICID. Thank you, and have a good day.